Hello you gorgeous people, I am here today to unhaul some books and explain a little bit about why, if I've read them, if I've not, that sort of thing. So let's get into it. So I'm pretty sure the majority of the books here I've read, except for like a couple, like a handful. So yeah, I'm gonna start with one of the ones that I haven't read, and I haven't read the first book either, but I do have 2 copies of the Testaments. I think I got gifted one the year it came out, but I'd already bought one. So I'm giving this to my friend Chloe. She's recently read The Handmaid's Tale, loved it, loved the TV show, and I said, oh, I have a copy of the Testaments that I don't need because I've got a duplicate copy, would you like it? She said yes. So this is going to be going to her when I next see her. This book I haven't read because I cannot read the language. I purchased this on Vinted because I really wanted to read Mexican Gothic, and I didn't look close enough and realised that it was not in English. So I haven't had much luck reading through it because my French has slacked and I do not remember anything that I learnt in GCSE, and I don't think it was to this standard anyway. So I need to get rid of this copy and get a copy that I can actually understand. I got this as a little novelty gift on one of my birthdays. I loved it. It was super cute. Crazy cat lady. I've read it, but I don't need to keep hold of it. And on a similar vein, one that I'm a little bit more attached to is Little Miss Shy Goes Online Dating. It was a little play on the Little Miss and Mr. Men series. When I started dating online, my friend thought it was funny to get this for me, and it actually is quite comical. But again, I'm looking at it like I really want to keep it, but I don't need it anymore. It was a funny time in my life. Oh man, I think I was... Did I get this when I was at Comic-Con years ago? I might have done, and I saw Tom Scar. I don't know. This was then. This is Art is Dead, the ASDF book written by Tom Scar, and yeah, that's when he was a thing. I don't know if he still makes content or what's going on in that world, but I liked videos like that. The I Like Trains was my particular favourite, but I no longer need this. This was a good book, Raising Unicorns, your step-by-step guide to starting and running a successful and magical unicorn farm. I remember enjoying it. Again, it's not something that, I don't really reread often anyway. It's like got like mixed media. It's a lot of fun actually, but it's not something I'm going to reread. I don't really need it on my shelves. I'd love to have some more space available for books that I am super obsessed with and maybe would reread. But if you like your quirky little magical books that are written as if it's real life, then this is one of those to keep an eye out for. The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. I want to say it came out during the lockdown, and I did read this. I remember enjoying it, but it wasn't anything like super amazing. I don't really have many things like that stuck to me from my time reading this. It has a beautiful under the cover hardcover design, and the inside is gorgeous as well. And I do like Matt Haig from what I've read so far. I keep meaning to read more by him, but this is one again I do not need to keep. Oh, I quite enjoyed this book. I want to say I gave it like a 3.5 4 stars. This is The Recovery of Rose Gold by Stephanie Rorbal, and I believe it was kind of inspired by the Gypsy Rose Blanchett case. But yeah, I enjoyed this at the time. I'm not a rereader. It's just sitting on my shelves. I also don't tend to read a whole heap of thriller, and what I have been reading, I feel like of late, has been from the library, and that's probably what I'm gonna majority do for books that I don't typically read too much. Unless I've already got them, then obviously I'm gonna read what's on my shelves. But for ones that I'm not absolutely in love with, I don't need to keep, and yeah, decided this is one of them. But I do recommend it. From what I remember, I enjoyed it. Okay, so I have 2 volumes of Miss Marvel, and I actually recently just read these January and February. I didn't really enjoy the first volume, no normal too much, but I did quite like the Generation Y. I've just decided that it's not something that I'm gonna keep buying. I mean, comics are expensive anyway, and for me to not be head over heels in love with them, I thought I might as well find someone who will love them. And I've decided the volumes that I can get from the library is where I'm going to read them anyway. So I do have a couple already out from the library that I will continue on with, but yeah, I don't want to necessarily keep these. Okay, so Joe Sugg, I have the username Evie and username Regenerated, and I believe there's a third book in this series. At one point I was doing a YouTuber book author book thing at one point and going through some of the YouTuber authors books that seemed interesting to me, and from what I remember I quite enjoyed these books, and I had every intention of finishing them off. I kept finding them in Asda, and then the third one came out, and at that point I guess it died down and I didn't see them in Asda anymore, so I didn't go out my way to buy them. And I mean, if I stumble on it in the library I'd probably finish it just to kind of feel like I've finished the series, but it's not super itching in my brain. It is like a sci-fi. It says, like anyone who feels they don't fit in, Evie dreams of a place of safety. When times are tough, all she wants is a chance to escape from reality and be herself. But unknown to Evie, her beloved father has been working tirelessly to create a virtual ideal just for her, and life as she knows it is about to be altered forever. Could this be the perfect world Evie has longed for, or does the hardest journey still lie ahead? So it's kind of got that sci-fi dystopian feel to it, very comic booky style, which I like. It's just, yeah, something that I've kind of outgrown a little bit, I suppose, and I'm not super fussed if I ever complete it. I mean, it's been a good few years now since I last picked up this series. Books are special edition, Fairy Loo, Illumicrate, that sort of thing, and it took a lot for me to get rid of these because obviously you put a lot of money into these particular editions, but they're not serving me much purpose anymore, so let's just go through them. Okay, the top two from this pile of three are buddy reads, and these ones were with my friend Deborah from Hills of Books on Instagram. So this was The Book of Night by Holly Black. I haven't read much by Holly Black before, but I liked it, but it wasn't like wowing me. I think I either gave it between a 2 and a 3, I can't quite remember. But we are following Charlie, who has like a knack for stealing within the magical world. There's this whole thing with like shadow magic and like a dark underbelly of the city. Magic has recently, in the last 20 years, kind of come out into the front and center, so people know about it, but it is still kind of like a sketchy, kind of darker sort of crime boss vibe, if that makes sense. I don't know, I was hoping for more from this book, and I don't know if there is a sequel or if, you know, a story would expand that would deliver, but I'm not really interested in continuing on, and I don't really need to keep this copy. I have Heather Fawcett's Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is also a buddy read with Deborah. I actually really liked it. I had a good time reading this whilst I was in the story. I liked how it was written. Emily Wilde is a scholar of the like the unseen folk. She's currently in a small snowy area studying their very reclusive collection of fairies and magical folk, and she's writing a dissertation compiling all of her findings to eventually publish. And it's like a bit of a rivals to lovers vibe in it, and it was all just very magical and lovely, but like it's not stuck with me as much again as I hoped it would, and it took me longer to read because I felt like I'm not actually getting much of a connection here that I thought I would. I do intend to complete the series, or at least continue on, like I have intentions to. I've got the second one out from the library, and I have the audiobook available for that too, and I had every plan of, as soon as I borrowed it from the library, to get straight to it, but I have since renewed it at least once, so it's not happened as quick as I thought. Gorgeous book, gorgeous edition as well, absolutely beautiful, but there's no point me keeping this if I was just like, oh, okay with it, you know. And I don't have any intentions of continuing on like buying Fairy Loot's particular series. Just gonna be sitting lonely on my shelf, and it doesn't need to do that. This was the first actual I want to say Fairy Loot, no, Illumicrate, that book that I was like, oh no, I wasn't a fan and I want to get rid of it, but I kept hold of it for so long apparently. And this was A Marvelous Light by Freya Mask. And from what I can remember, the thing that I really enjoyed about it was the sex scenes. And that sounds really bizarre and really odd, but they were so well written, and it's the only thing that kind of got me like intrigued and excited and like motivated to read more, because I loved the relationship that was growing between the characters, and the sexy times were where it was at. So this is about a hidden world, a magical conspiracy and a thrilling romance. We've got young Baronet Robin Blythe, who was already in a spot of bother. He's struggling to be a decent older brother and a responsible employer, and to rescue the estate ravaged by his late parents' excesses. Then an administrative mistake appoints him parliamentary liaison to a secret society, and he discovers magic lies beneath the reality he's always known. It's also male on male romance, and I loved that as well, and I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I didn't fall in love with it, and I haven't continued on with the series. There was a point a couple of months ago where I was going to read the sequel, which is A Restless Truth, I think, and I think it follows one of our main characters' sister. But yeah, I ended up returning the audiobook for that, and I didn't read it. So yes, that's not to say that other people won't love any of these books. I know a lot of them are favourites for people I know in real life as well as online, but yeah, for me, I just don't need them on my shelves anymore, and that's okay. So I will most likely be putting some of these up on my Vinted, which is here. If you're interested, where there is magic, you can go and check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Just to point out, and just to make it very clear, this isn't a bash to anybody whose book I mentioned. If it's your favourite or anything like that, it's just I don't need it on my shelves anymore. Hopefully they can find new homes with someone who will absolutely love them. But yes, anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye.